Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another Journey on the Fly podcast. Today, this will be a short one. I want to introduce a ministry that I work with our fly fishing guide services here in the East Coast. And obviously, we are willing to go wherever that opportunities arise. That ministry is Cross the Divide, which is, I believe it's crossthedivide.us if you want to find them online, or go to our website, journeyonthefly.fish, and we have a page dedicated just to it. The short story of how I got involved with this is about 2 years ago or so when I was a part-time assistant pastor. The series of events, the chains of custody, if you will, of relationships here were the pastor that I was under had served out in the Pacific Northwest at a facility out there, and these connections were made, and then through a series of events we were kind of closing down a stage of our church, and I was moving on to guiding. He introduced me to a ministry called Summit, which is a ministry that also works with veterans, but also civilians, in helping develop community and bring hope to people who have suffered terrible PTSD and just communication problems, even within military groups and so forth, where we kind of look past each other. And there is restoration, and there is, like I said, communal how do I want to say it? Communal formation that takes place through these processes and programs, and that led me to Cross the Divide, and our head coordinator Mo, who is, I believe, retired Marine chaplain, is a wonderful man of God. I appreciate him dearly. And yeah, I'll just take a pause here for a minute and say, yeah, I openly admit I'm talking a little bit more about God in this particular episode. Probably a little bit more going forward, to be honest, because who I am, I'm not going to hide that. Also, don't be concerned of my guests. Some will be on the same vein of worldview as myself, some will not. We still want to make this a fly fishing and life podcast, and we just won't deny that these things ebb and flow together, and that they ought to. So if that bothers you, I'm not going to apologize. It's who I am. You've already kind of felt that a little bit if you've listened to any of the previous podcasts. Hopefully that balance remains, and hopefully you can grow from it yourself in your fly fishing and your worldview and all the things that I push on this particular podcast, which is good fly fishing, which is ethical ideas that surpass just the time on the stream, into the household. You know that I'm a big proponent of family, and I will always push that. I just happen to believe I have a grounding for these things, something that not just stabilizes them, but it's foundational to them existing to begin with. So anyways, back to Cross the Divide. This you will be hearing on the evening before Giving Tuesday, so Cyber Monday. We have set a goal this year of $5,000, raising $5,000 for use in this ministry. So what does this ministry do? Well, it's pretty simple. Their fuel costs are paid. Any money they spend to get there, as far as if they have to make a long travel and they have food expenses, that is paid for. All their food while they're with us is paid for. Their housing and the lodging, like I said, is paid for. The trip is fully paid for. They accrue no costs. We don't want anything hindering these men and women to come and experience this time on the water of healing and hope. It is a low-pressure event. When I do these events, I do not pry the veterans terrible stories out of them. I am there to move at the speed of relationship. I am there to instruct them in fly fishing, to instruct them to look up, to look around, to observe what is observable. They learn a lot of knowledgeable, practical things when it comes to fly fishing, and we'll talk about all that in another podcast where I kind of run through the gamut of things that I personally discuss and teach on the water. But they also learn to appreciate some of the things I mentioned before about, sit down sometimes and look around. Don't make it just about the fish, because there may be a day you don't catch the amount of fish or a fish, but you still had an amazing time if you hold to, our motto per se, right? It's not about the destination. It's the journey that makes us. And some of these men and women have a journey thus far that's been tough, things they can't shake. And anybody who is listening to this that fly fishes knows that when you're making a cast, or even when you're tying on a knot, tying a fly on, and you're hoping that you've investigated, what's floating on the water, or that time of year, or that even that light, the amount of light that we have transmitting into the water. I've selected the right thing. Now I've got to pick my spot. I've got to make that cast. I got to make that mend. I've got to watch focused hyperly on my sighter or my indie, however I'm fishing that day, or my dry. And as you're doing that, you're anticipating, right? You're full of that hope that a fish is going to rise, or a fish is going to take what you're offering them, that you can fool that fish. You cannot possibly think about the garbage that's in the world, the hardness or the difficulties or the trials. And here's my take on that. We do this, and I emphasize this to every person, really. It is not our goal to escape reality. Our goal is to build this into part of the experience that people have in their lives. That when they find themselves stressing and overwhelmed, that they make the time to get away and to find these moments where, on a scientific side, you can rewire your brain to be full of gratitude and appreciation of all the good things. That you can begin to, as one professor called it, I call it self-inflicted, but it's basically self-induced neuroplasticity, where you're changing your brain itself that's been affected by trauma, and you're changing it because you are tempering yourself, putting yourself in an environment that may not have all of that, so that you can maybe reflect back on that in a day when you do have a trial and you can't make it to the stream. Memories are powerful things. Good memories, wonderful memories, memories full of wonder are immensely, immensely powerful things. And fly fishing provides opportunities for that. Now, to be clear, I say this to all my guests on these trips: fly fishing does not save you. That's ridiculous. Fly fishing is a means. In my worldview, Jesus saves you. And not just from the thin understanding that culture has of my faith, but he provides a grounding and an understanding as to why these things work the way they do. So Cross the Divide gives me and our guides an opportunity to take these men and women on the stream and introduce them to, as you all know, one of the best pastimes that there possibly could ever have been. Truly a blessing. The world of fly fishing, the culture and the community of fly fishing, introduces them to it, gives them an opportunity to build relationships with each other and with civilians like me, if that is the case. And it's 100% free to the veteran. I am tired of either turning somebody away or not having the funds to do this. This year we have been incredibly blessed because we are pretty crystal clear and open organization. I think that we were blessed this year with, I think $6,000 or $7,000 worth of trips that went towards these veterans. We need help with that. That's what this podcast episode is about. That's why I'm going to keep it short, under 15 minutes. I am asking you to go to my social medias on Facebook or Instagram, find my posts, or go directly to my website, www.journeyonthefly.fish. Find the Cross Divide page, find the donation page, get involved, and donate. And I'm not asking for $25. I'm asking for $250, $350, $1,000, whatever your world and your life has provided you for and you have a budget for, or God moves you for, or this desire to help these men and women moves you to do. We're asking you for that because we want to make a change. I hope we blow past the $5,000. To be honest, $5,000 in this day and age is just not a lot. And if you have questions about this, if you yourself have a heart for veterans and you'd like to get involved in some way, we can discuss some things. Feel free to reach out to me, adam@journeyonthefly.fish. That is adam@journeyonthefly.fish. You're welcome to give me a call, 412-443-8937, or a text message for that matter, 412-443-8937. Tomorrow we will launch Giving Tuesday. From then on out, I will, till the end of this year, be pushing this particular campaign, but I will be looking for donators. Maybe you're a business owner. Maybe you're a financial planner or something like that, and you have the resources because you've been blessed with a job that provides way more than you ever need. These men and women, they need this. Many of them would say they don't deserve it, but I will tell you that they need it. I mean, heck, my life has nowhere near the trauma that many of these folks do, and I need it for that matter. I need to learn this. And we are a deeper and we are an organization that goes further with these folks than just the fly fishing. That's really important to understand why I'm involved with this and why I think it is the best fly fishing veterans organization that there is. Now, I say that, but you go to their website, you'll see that they do so much more than fly fishing. Oh, my word. We do upland bird hunts. We do elk hunts. We do blacktail deer. I mean, just all kinds of events that we are blessed and able to do because of our supporters. I would ask you to share this podcast with your friends and family, because if it's something that you have a heart for, but maybe you really can't do something. Like, I get that, man. I get the financial side of this. I really, truly do. My wife and I attempted to raise support for almost 4 years to work at Carnegie Mellon at a college ministry dealing in philosophical and metaphysical concepts, and that was tough. We understand that side of it, but we also understand that not coming from a wealthier background, it can be difficult to come up with the funds. So it's not like we're going to turn away $25 donations. I'm just encouraging bigger because we want to make this thing just blow up for these people. I want to be able to reach out to every veteran organization around me and say, hey, this is what we have to offer. All you have to do is say yes. And there is an application process for this. We don't take every, quote, veteran, end quote. And from their own mouths, the reason that is because there are what they consider professional veterans. There are also those that unfortunately are the scum of the earth that steal valor and have never seen a day of military service in their life. And so we have to filter those folks out. They're few and far in between, thank God, but they are out there. Nevertheless, keeping this short, please help. Prayerfully, maybe your heart and your mind is moved towards this. You may not believe in the worldview that we are here to promote and offer. Maybe you just believe in the fly fishing side of it, and that's okay too. You don't have to be a Christian to give to this organization. If you're anti-Christian, well, that I wouldn't expect you to give. But if you see the good in beauty and the truth of what fly fishing in nature can provide for these men and women, help us out. So thank you for your time. I immensely appreciate you listening. This is Adam Corman signing off with Journey on the Fly. remember, it's not about the destination. It's the journey that makes us. Thank you.